Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube man? It's your boy Action Jackson. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 10 most important Cowboy players for the 2023-2024 NFL season. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content, man. And again, reiterating on the liking and subscribing. If you are new, subscribe, hit that notification bell button for when I do post videos, and do share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content, no matter if they like the video, subscribe if they will, anything like that. So first off, if I don't mention anybody in this list, it doesn't mean that they're not important, because everyone is important for this championship run that I aspire the Dallas Cowboys to go on. So if I don't mention somebody like a Tony Pollard, any of our safeties like Malik, Donovan, Wilson, Jaron Curse, Israel Mukuamu, anybody in the secondary other not named Diggs or Gilmore, or certain pieces of the offensive line or any of the tight ends, don't get upset. I'm just letting you guys know that now that everyone's important, but we just need these 10 to go off in the season for us to have the type of season I want the Dallas Cowboys to have. So for me, the first four, they're easy. I have everyone in order. And number one, I got Dak. 2, I got Micah. 3, I got CD. And 4, I got Trayvon. With two sides, both important pieces on either side of the ball. Just start off first with Dak. It starts and it ends with him, because if he doesn't have a great game, depending on the type of game that he has, if he has a bad game where he's turning the ball over 2 or 3 times, that's going to obviously hurt us, like how it did in that San Francisco game. Any of the games that we had where he had multiple turnovers in, those are the games that he mostly hurt us in. But mostly, if he just does his part, if he doesn't turn the ball over, we have such a great defense that I don't have to worry about that. But like I said, I'm not too worried about Dak Prescott coming into the season, but he is our most important player, because we've seen that without him for a long stretch of times, not for 4 or 5 games. I'm talking about 10 plus games. We're not a winning team. We're a top 5, top 10 selecting team when Dak Prescott isn't there. So that has been shown already. Look, the 2020 season, and then obviously, we have way better defense than before. But Dak Prescott, the only thing I need him to do is I need him to be consistent. Well, just really with everyone, but especially these 4 guys. Like I said, again with Dak, Micah, CD, Trayvon, I need them to be consistent throughout, from week 1 all the way through 18 plus playoffs. I need these guys to be relatively healthy. I need them playing as well at a high level as well, because no one's going to be completely healthy throughout the season. Every NFL player says that they're never healthy, but as long as they're not injured, that's my thing. As long as they're not injured, I think we should be fine. And just one more thing with Dak, really, he just needs to know, for me, the pacing of the game. I understand, he might already know this, and he's a dang near at this point almost a 10-year pro. He's been with the Dallas Cowboys for a very long time, but I feel like in certain situations, we need to. It's also up to the coordinators as well and the coaches. Mike McCarthy, Schottenheimer, and Dak all need to know that in certain points in a game, third quarter with 8 minutes left, we're up by 3. We're up by 3. The team, whoever we're facing against just scored a touchdown. Now they're closing that gap. I need the Dallas Cowboys to know, hey, we need to get a touchdown now. We can't get on the next pursuing drive, because then that causes momentum shift. So we just need Dak to realize like, hey, I need to score right here, right there, things of that nature, really. And second, I don't really need to go in with Micah. You guys already know what Micah needs to bring week in and week out, and I think bringing in a guy like Mozzie Smith, you get contributions from LVE and everyone else. If everyone else does their job, Micah's going to be just fine. That's pretty much it. Micah is our best player on our team. But yeah, that's it. Third, CD. Problems last year were wide receiver 2, because you can't go in and play the real legitimate number 1 defense in the San Francisco 49ers, beating them with only two best explosive players being CeeDee Lamb or Tony Pollard. You need to have a lot more weaponry, like how the Philadelphia Eagles had. Teams that gave them troubles, like the Kansas City Chiefs, you need multiple players that can give them multiple problems. It can't just be CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard, because because other than your offensive line, your most productive points came from Dak, CD, and Pollard. Zeke did count to it as well, but consistent basis all the time that got you the big plays, it was because of Dak, CD, and Pollard. So you can't just go in just with 3 people going in just to beat the number 1 defense. So CeeDee Lamb, I need him to keep progressing, keep showing that he is that number 1 wide receiver in this league, showing and proving that he still is a top 10 wide receiver in this league, and play like a real 88 when it comes into the playoffs. He's had his moments. He had a good game against the Niners, good game also against the Buccaneers. But when I'm talking about like a true 88, I'm talking about Michael Irvin, Pearson, guys who want chips. I need him to go out there and play like that and take his talent to a whole nother level come playoff time. Trayvon Diggs, I can't complain with Trayvon Diggs. Same thing. Can't be too high, can't be too down in these games. He has great amnesia when it comes to forgetting plays. When he got beat on a certain play and on a certain down, he has great amnesia because he'll forget about it, come the very next play, and make a play. Same thing. Our biggest impediment was cornerback 2 last year. If we didn't have a cornerback 2 problem last year, we're easily the number 1 seed, and we're the number 1 seed over Philadelphia, and who knows what our season looks like if we have the number 1 seed versus being the number 5 seed in last year's season. So I need Trayvon Diggs again to take steps forward, not take steps behind. And the only thing I need for Trayvon to get better at next year is just be a willing tackler in the run game. And really, that's it. Really, for when it comes to Trayvon Diggs. And same thing. Don't let this miscellaneous characters beat you all the time. Don't let the 3rd, 4th string receiver get you on a double move and anything like that, because he's done really well against really the top receivers in the league. Justin Jefferson, I believe in the 2 games that we did play Minnesota, only held him to under 50 yards, allowed 0 touchdowns. Same thing with Mike Evans as well. I think only allowed him to 1 touchdown, less than 50 yards. He's done really well in his short time so far in the league. Number 5 is Stephon Gilmore. We brought him in to bring in one of our biggest weaknesses in last year's team was cornerback 2. Anthony Brown wasn't much of a great player for us, but he was solid. He was better than Xavier Rhodes at his stage of his career is now. Same thing with Kelvin Joseph and Nashawn Wright. He was way better than what he was. Yes, he did get beat with the big plays, but he wouldn't have gotten torched that bad against Jacksonville or anything like that. But that comes in for me. I feel like with safety play, like that Trayvon Diggs is mostly, for the most part, locked down. I feel like safety should have been dedicated on that side for cornerback 2. But, that's what it is. But I think Stephon Gilmore, for me, is definitely somebody that you can leave on an island with somebody. He's done really well guarding against guys like Justin Jefferson, Kyle Pitts. He's done a lot of different things. If you look at his film, he's done a lot of, great things against some of the top talents in the NFL receiving-wise. And he's also solid against the run game. And also, if you look at a clip that he had against guarding Devontae Adams and when they had to play the Raiders, and that was Jeff Saturday's first wins as a interim head coach, was against the Raiders, and it came up to a crucial 4th down stop against Devontae Adams and the Las Vegas Raiders, and he gave great amount of detail on how he stopped the best receiver in the league and how he knew how to guard him and everything like that. And plus, Stephon Gilmore, like I said in previous videos, how he gets that stamp of approval where he's a Super Bowl champion, Defensive Player of the Year. Players grew up in high school, college watching him, so they know what Stephon Gilmore brings. And if you look at his film, which a lot of these NFL players do, they know how great Stephon Gilmore is. So if you don't take my word for it, a lot of NFL players do. And even the content creators, when they watch film, an intense film like what they do on Stephon Gilmore, he's great at what he does. 6 is Brandon Cooks. Same thing. Been there, done that. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, 2 back-to-back. He's played in conference games. He played with 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time. Definitely the best of all time with Tom Brady. Also playing with Drew Brees. He'll probably give some physical and mental notes to Dak Prescott, how he can sharpen his game. Same thing, another impediment for us last year was that we didn't have wide receiver 2 last year. If we had Michael Gallup, who could stepped up last year, our team looks completely different. Like if Michael Gallup could have brought you 2020, 2018 production, I think we would have been a lot better. But we're already hearing a lot of great things in camp, how Michael Gallup is progressing and everything like that. And if he can become a really great 2 or 3 at times, I think we're going to be really fine come down to the stretch of games, and especially in the playoffs. I just need a lot of these guys. Every guy I'm going to name, I need them to come up big in the postseason because I'm tired of the regular season success. It's fine or whatever, but I need them to come up big and make a big difference come playoff time. I think Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore, 2 guys that have been there and done that, they will definitely do that. Brandon Cooks, I just need you to be consistent, constantly beat the number 2 corner. I need you to be sure hands guy for Dak Prescott. And I need you to bring in something that we haven't gone before, and it is that burner. We've never had a burner on this team. We got spots where, we try to treat Michael Gallup like he was, big play guy. He wasn't. Same thing. Tavon Austin was a little bit like that in 2018, 2019. He wasn't much of that. He wasn't a consistent guy who can constantly get open. He will get open if a guy would fall or a guy wouldn't pay attention, things of that nature. But I think Brandon Cook's a consistent guy who can consistently beat the number 2 corner, number 3 corner, and just get over on top. And I think Dak Prescott has an arm. He has an NFL arm where he can make that type of throw. Number 7 is Mozzie Smith. Now, with Mozzie Smith, I'm tempering my expectations. I already know he's going to come and he's going to do well. But what I mean for me by tempering my expectations is I'm not one of those fans that are expecting you because you're on my team to play like a Hall of Famer. I know things in general takes time to develop. And I think Mozzie Smith, only being 21, 22 years old, can come in and he can do the things that he did at Michigan, but with real NFL talent. Honing in on his talents, I think he can be a lot better player. But I'm not asking him to be Warren Sapp, Tony Siragusa, Vita Vea. I'm not asking him to be any of those guys, Ron Payne, not asking DeForest Buckner, none of that. Just can the buck stop with you? If you can't be moved and that frees up a gap or a lane for a guy like DeMone Clark, Micah, DeMarcus Lawrence, whoever can come and shoot that gap, Donovan Wilson, J-Ron Kearse, Malik Hooker. If if the buck can stop with you, you cannot be moved. If you can at least take 2 guys with you when you're heading upfield or trying to get to the passer, can you at least take 2 blockers? Because if you can take that guard in that center, I think DeMarcus Lawrence can win in certain areas. For sure, Micah can win. So I think Osa can as well. So Mozzie, just come in. I just need you to be a 4-down player. I don't need you being one-dimensional, only being a 2-gapper, because then a lot of guys, they can run tempo. After, you stop them, it's 3rd and 5, they're going to run tempo, hurry up, get on the ball, and they know that if you can't bring much to the passing game, they can know that they can step up in the pocket, things like that. But I know Mozzie will be fine, just fine bringing in pressure up the middle. I'm not too worried about that. 2 people at a time. I know the offensive line as a whole is super important. You can't do anything in this league, especially in this league, without having a great offensive line. Not a great offensive line, but if you have a subpar, above average offensive line, you'll be just fine in the NFL. You don't need an elite offensive line all the time to win you games. Tyler Smith, Terrence Steele are both guys to me that are important because they're both your tackles. I understand we are getting guard play working in for Terrence Steele, but when Tyron Smith goes down, who's playing right tackle for you? If Asim Richards or Josh Ball or Matt Waletzko isn't excelling at that right tackle position, that's when you kick back into Terrence Steele at right tackle, leave Tyler Smith at left guard, leave him there. I think he's going to be your next left tackle for the next 10 plus years, and you should be fine. And I think we can roll with those 2, and it's important that when you have 2 booking tackles that can block for you, as long as you can step up in that pocket, which Dak Prescott can, I think we'll be just fine. And I think, again, you have 2 booking tackles, you're going to stop a lot of good edge rushers and everything like that. So offensive line play is very important. And number 10 is Leighton Vander Esch. You just look at games last year. You look at that Houston Texans game when Hankins and LVE wasn't there. You look at that Jacksonville Jaguars game. Our defense was not the same. I know they weren't against top tier great opponents, but just the games weren't. Defensively, that's where our defense looked shaky. We let up almost 40 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Most of that being, if you take away minus the pick 6, those 35 plus points were let up on the defense. You look at that Texans game; they were able to stay in the game not only because of a botched punt, from Cavante Turpin, but that defense allowed 23 points. You can't let that happen for a team like that. So Leighton Vander is really important. He might not be the best linebacker in the league. He's not going to be super flashy. He's not going to be your Fred Warner. He's not going to be your Darius Slender or anybody like that you guys will respect that linebacker position. But he's well enough to where he's going to do his spot. He's going to do his part into winning football games. And that's it, really. He lines up the defense, and he does what he do. Really, for him, I just need him to stay healthy in the games. I understand he is not going to play every single game because he's one of those many guys on the Cowboys roster where he's not going to play 10-plus consistent games. That's fine. But that's where coaching comes in, and depth is important. That's why I'm still on the Cowboys on getting another linebacker in like a Deion Jones or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, your 10 most important Cowboy players, again, is Dak, 1, 2 Micah, 3 CD, 4 Trayvon, 5 Stephon Gilmore, 6 Brandon Cooks, 7 Mozzie Smith, 8 Tyler Smith, 9 Terrence Steele, and 10 Leighton Vander. And if you want to count them again, that's 5 offense, 5 defense. Of course, kicker is important as well. We still need to figure out that kicker position. And that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.